A 15-year-old in 2021 in Michigan walked out of the bathroom with a handgun and started executing classmates. I believe 4 people were killed, 7 wounded, including a teacher. Uh, the shooter has pled guilty, but the trial that's currently in session is going to be to decide if he is eligible for life without parole. And one of the defense's statements was that we need to consider the age of the child, negligent raising, and apparently the parents were so negligent that they have been charged with involuntary manslaughter in the shootings based off of their purchasing the gun, refusal or overlooking his apparent need for mental health, things like that. So even refusing to pick him up from school the day of the shooting, when I guess pictures with graphic drawings of violence were found. So that's all something to take into consideration with someone's age, especially so young. But can't we just make the same argument for somebody who's not 15 but 51 who goes out and does this? I mean, I guess as you're an adult, you have the options to get help, but we often don't see people getting help as adults because they are so far into their trauma, they're so far into their habits, they're so far into everything they've been taught. A lot of times they don't know how to get out of it. So, is this something that we need to reconsider for all ages, all stages? Because I don't think a 51-year-old is a, polished citizen and then just decides to go do this. Just like I don't think a 15-year-old just decides to go do this. This is the result of years and a lifetime, regardless of how long your life is, of trauma. So are we sparing children only because they're children? And then to say what's a proper date to release them, how long of their life, because if you put them into an incarcerated system, the one that we know in this country now, you're not going to find much of a rehabilitative process going on within the American prison system. So then are you inflicting more trauma upon them by way of affiliations that they may be forced to enter into, violence, just the ability to traffic drugs or take drugs, not to mention sexual assault, things like that. So, where are you going to put a 15-year-old if you put them in prison? And then how much are they protected in that state? So, then, okay, you give them a 15 years. So at 30, after they've been possibly beaten, raped, exposed to a bunch of other things, they come out way more of a criminal and traumatized than when they went in. I'm not saying that people should get just a free pass for things like this. I'm just wondering, shouldn't we be looking at anybody's? If a 51-year-old had the same life that a 15-year-old had, and then say the 15-year-old had a good life and didn't have negligent parents and went and got a gun and all of these things, so now is that 15-year-old eligible for life and parole because of their upraising? I mean, I think anybody who decides at some point that taking somebody else's life like that and studying it and then hunting people down, I think at some point we have to look at anybody's upraising at any age. So then what is the answer in the penal system? Do we give any sort of leniency to somebody who's older, or do we just say out with the bathwater, we throw it all out and start over? Whereas with the child, the impact is the same whether you are 15 and killed 4 people or 51 and killed 4 people. I don't think that if it were a loved one of mine, I would find it any more or less tragic because of the shooter's age. I think that it's all tragic. Um, what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear what you guys think on this. Maybe it's a little political, maybe it's a little touchy, maybe somebody's been closer to a circumstance like this than I have or knows more about the law and why they consider these things, but would love to hear it. Let's start a conversation, and hopefully this finds everybody in a place, pursuit, or beginnings of total health, mind, body, and soul. Peace, love, unity, solidarity. And don't forget to hit the like, even the dislike for a topic like this. I won't be mad at you. Subscribe to the channel and share the content.